You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I am your host, of course, obviously. Thanks for joining me. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, I thank you for including me into your day. If you're listening to the restream of this on YouTube, I thank you as well. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, enjoy. All that good stuff on the YouTube side. This is episode number 28. 28, right? Yeah, I believe it's 28. Yeah. Wednesday's podcast. Again, thank you for joining me. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. So, over the weekend, we had some UFC action. And I guess, well, the main card was who was the main card between? It was Amanda Nunes. Nunes, is that how you pronounce her name? And Felicia Spencer at UFC 250. But that was kind of overshadowed because you kind of expect it from this guy. Conor McGregor is apparently calling it a career. He made that announcement right after the fight. At the end of that fight on Saturday. So the famed Irish fighter, just minutes after Nunes' dominant win over Felicia Spencer, he announced his retirement on Twitter Saturday night. He went on to say, "Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting." He wrote, "Thank you all for the amazing memories. What a ride it's been. Here's a picture of myself and my mother in Las Vegas. Post one of my world title wins. Pick the home of your dream. Mags, I love you. Whatever you desire, it's yours." So, it's not the first time he's done this. But if the retirement is real this time, he'll finish his career 22-4, his overall fighting record. Like I said, this isn't the first time he's done this. He's done this a couple times before. So I don't know if anybody is really taking him seriously when he says that this is it. I mean, only time will tell. We'll see. So I don't know what to say so much on the UFC side. I wasn't really into, Ultimate Fighting until I met my girlfriend. My girlfriend who I'm with now. Okay, so she is the one who got me into UFC, and she watched it. I wasn't really into, those guys take a beating in the octagon. They're putting in work, but I couldn't be there with her, and she's watching UFC, and I'm over in the corner, like just blanking out. She's cheering on all this testosterone fighting going on, and I'm over in the corner just balled up and, So she got me into it. I don't really know, like I said, I don't know much of the UFC side to where I can even have an opinion if Conor McGregor is going to stick to his retirement. I mean, this isn't the first time he's done this, so I don't know. Only time will tell. I must say, I did watch the McGregor and Mayweather fight. I thought it was a good fight. Experience went out in that fight with Mayweather. McGregor, I thought McGregor held his own in that fight and the boxing match with Mayweather. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Floyd was pretty much on the defensive side the whole night. He pretty much just let McGregor just tire himself out. and then tried to go in for the kill at the end. But I thought it was a good fight. But, I don't know if this is it for McGregor, honestly. Like I said, only time will tell. And before McGregor stole the spotlight, there was a fight Saturday night, UFC 250. Amanda Nunes, she won by decision over Felicia Spencer as the fight went the distance. And I would have loved to have seen it. That was the main card. But the problem is the main event doesn't come on until it's past my bedtime. I know it's Saturday. Okay, I get it. I get it. But I can't be up, midnight trying. And I don't know if it started at midnight. I think there were only 2 other fights before that. So I don't know. Maybe the fight didn't start at midnight like, the main card normally would. But I didn't see it. Nunes, she gets the win. And so give her a round of applause for getting that win in UFC 250. So, yeah, there you have it for the UFC side of things. Now, I'm going to transition into some unfortunate news. Ricci Caldwell, those of you might remember him with the New England Patriots like I do. I remember him for a short period of time with San Diego. I saw that, when this news broke that he signed with the Redskins. I don't remember him with Washington. But over the weekend, unfortunately, Ricci Caldwell was shot and killed. The former NFL wide receiver, Ricci Caldwell, was shot and killed outside of his home in Tampa, Florida on Saturday. That was reported by TMZ Sports. He was 41 years old. Caldwell was about to take his girlfriend out when he went back inside the house to get a jacket. His girlfriend said that Caldwell was ambushed by a couple of people who jumped out of the bushes in an attempt robbery. Now, Caldwell's mother, Deborah, told the website that Caldwell was shot in the leg and in the chest before 911 was called, but he died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. Caldwell finished his career with 152 receptions for 1,851 yards and 11 touchdowns in 71 career games. It's sad times right now, people. This is why I say arm yourself. I have a buddy of mine, and he's never owned a gun in his life. And my boy, he's almost 40 years old, and and he just recently armed himself. I'm happy for him. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was doing a little bit much with some of the things he was doing with it, but be safe. Go to a range, get the proper gun training. But in these crazy times, people would rather rob you than go to work. So arm yourself, protect your family, protect your loved ones. Do it in a safe manner, though. Like I said, if you don't have the experience, like I said, like my homeboy, go to a gun range and, they'll show you the proper way of handling the gun and firing the weapon and cleaning it and all that good stuff. Just practice safety with it, but arm yourself, but be safe as well with it. Now, when I first heard the story, now I read the story today. Well, I heard the story over the weekend, but I read an update on it today. And his mother is saying that she thinks it was a setup. And that was the first thing that came to my mind when I heard the story. It doesn't sound right. He went back into the house to retrieve a jacket. Just doesn't sound right. I mean, he could have, but I just don't know too many people who are waiting for you to come out your house and then go back in the house to ambush you. It just seems like a total setup. I wouldn't be surprised if the girlfriend had something to do with it. I know I'm jumping to conclusions, but it's just something that it doesn't sound right. The story sounds fishy, but we'll see what happens. I remember him, like I said, with the New England Patriots playing with Tom Brady. But that's neither here nor there. Her mother, she lost her son. My prayers, my thoughts go out to the Caldwell family. R.I.P. to Ricci Caldwell, former NFL player playing for the Chargers, Pats, and the Skins. All right, so I'm going to try and transition on to another story. Not really sure how you can do that after reading, an unfortunate situation like that. But here it goes. There's a high school kid by the name of Mikey Williams, and he said that going to a HBCU wouldn't be so bad. Now, Mikey Williams is a 15-year-old high school basketball phenom, and he sent shockwaves through the basketball world when he announced that he was considering going to a HBCU. Now, he is a rising sophomore. He plays for San Yedro. Am I pronouncing that right? San Yedro High School in California, and is obviously a highly talented and skilled basketball player. He has already received scholarship offers from UCLA and Kansas, among others. And recently he put out a tweet that said going to a HBCU wouldn't be too bad. Well, my opinion on that is, can he really be wooed from the HBCU? I'm not knocking HBCUs, but compared to big time schools, some of the big D1 schools, there's a disadvantage for HBCUs. I went to, I grew up in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta, and I went to Washington High School, which is right down the street from Morehouse College in the AUC Center. So I saw Morehouse every single day when I was going to school. Now, the problem with Morehouse is that those campuses aren't. I'm trying to be positive. Now, I can't speak on other HBCUs, but the one here, with Spelman and Morehouse, is in the hood. It is what it is. It's smack dab right in the hood. I've heard other HBCUs are the same way. But, when you kind of grew up in the hood and you're from there, that doesn't really necessarily scare you off. That wouldn't scare me off if I was in that position. That wouldn't be a deal breaker if it was in the hood. But for a privileged kid growing up, in an affluent household, I can kind of see that being a problem. It can be a culture shock. And I remember when, I was a military brat, and when I moved from Connecticut down to Atlanta, going from the schools in Connecticut to the schools in Atlanta, major culture shock. And it took me a while to adjust. It really did. I remember I got to a fight in school my second day here. My second day here in Atlanta. Remember it like it was yesterday. It was a culture shock. So, let's be real. The top kids are in school. They're playing in the what is the AC? I can't even think about it now. But they're playing in those big tournaments. The high school kids playing AUC. No, that's it. It has left my head. It's on the tip of my tongue. The tournaments the kids playing now, because they don't play high school basketball now. They play the travel basketball. Kobe Bryant said it was killing the league, and I agree. R.I.P. to the late Kobe Bryant. Kevin Garnett said the same thing. Charles Barkley said the same thing. I don't know why I can't think of the acronym for the basketball those kids play. But every kid in the NBA pretty much played in that program. But you all know what I'm talking about. So, those kids, when they play those programs in high school, they're kind of the hot ish, the hot stuff, and people are I'm gonna put it like it is. They're coddling them. They're telling them they're gonna be hot stuff. They're the best thing since sliced bread. So you go to a HBC, and you have some high schools that these kids are playing at that have better funding than the HBCUs. That's all I'm saying. I would love to see if black kids starting to go to HBCUs, that would turn everything upside down. But the problem with the HBCUs, they got to get more money coming in. They got to get more money coming in. Now, I saw a meme that said earlier this week that said if you really want to strike back, if everybody protesting and whatnot, take your kids out of these D1 schools if you want to send a message. That would send a message. I guarantee it. I wonder if some of the big D1 schools would try to find a way to sue some kind of way. I don't know how they would, but somebody would come up with some type of lawsuit to sue the HBCUs. Now, I truly believe kids are getting paid under the table. All of them. Every last one. You're not going to tell me otherwise. So, if that starts to happen, I guarantee you college players will be paid. They will push that through right along so swiftly and quickly. They will be paying these kids, hey, come play at Duke. Don't go play at Morehouse. Don't go play at Jackson. Come on, come back to Kentucky. Come on back. Don't go to Howard and play. It would be a game changer. I can say that. If all the top athletes started going to HBCUs as opposed to going to your Kentuckys and your Dukes and your UNCs, that would be a major game changer. Major. It would shake things up. And the players have the power. Players have the power. They get these adults to come into the homes and tell them, hey, we can do this. We can do that. Players got the power. It just took a while for players to understand that. I'm not sure why. But, one thing about this new generation, though, the new generation of kids, they do not care. They do not care. They're going to do what they want to do and how they want to do it. I give them that. I give them that credit. Back when I was coming to them guys, even after me, guys just kind of went with the flow. You kind of just went with, what was expected. That's what you're supposed to do. But this new generation of kids, they go against the grain. So, and D1, I'm sorry, not D1, but HBCUs, in the other small schools, they get some players. Look at Scottie Pippen. He went to what did he went to? A school in Arkansas. I can't think of the name. It was some small school in Arkansas he went to. John Morant went to a small school. He went to I believe it was Murray State. No one knew about Murray State for real. I mean, and if you follow sports, some of the guys who went there after they had, I know a couple of guys, not personally, but had got into some trouble and ended up going to Murray State playing sports. But, John Morant, like I said, he went to a small school. He got noticed. One thing about your game, if your game is good enough, someone's going to find you. Your game will travel if it's good enough. So if this Mikey Williams kid, if he's good enough and he wants to test out the waters going to a HBCU, I say have at it. Have at it. I'm not mad at it. We need more of this. More of this. Yeah, we do. All right. So I was online and just looking at sports things and sports happenings, and I saw something that said it was a guy stretched out on a therapist's couch, and it said, "What is your most heartbreaking sports moment?" And everyone put the picture up 28-3. They showed Matt Ryan putting his head down, walking off the field. Believe it or not, that's not my most heartbreaking sports moment. It isn't. That Super Bowl, honestly, might be 3 on the list. The problem with it was that it hurt bad at the moment, but it doesn't stick to me. Like, I got over it eventually. Like the Super Bowl, yeah, we were up 28-3. New England comes back and win. But it's not the first thing that comes to my mind. And the first thing, I will tell you what mine is. But I just, Falcons and Patriots, I'm thinking about my list. That might be number 3 on the list. It's not 1. But my number 1 heartbreaking sports moment came in 1996 in the World Series. Just by saying that, you all probably know where I'm going with it. Game 4, we're up 2-1 with a 6-3 lead in the 8th. I believe it was the 8th. It was the 7th or the 8th inning. I want to say it was top 8th. We bring Mark Walters in to kind of close this deal. We're up 6-3. Let's close it. Let's go up 3-1, and we're going to repeat as World Series champions. There's a guy by the name of Jim Leyritz. He was the catcher for the New York Yankees. Comes up. Now, Leyritz is a fastball hitter. Now, I remember he was catching up with Walters' heat. Walters threw him 2 or 3 fastballs, and he fouled them off. But the cut that he had on the ball were home run swings. He was swinging for the fences. Now, there's runners at the corners, so maybe we can kind of get Leyritz to ground into a double play, get out of the inning. I'm not even mad if we give up a run, because then, we try to out for a run, or even if we just give up a run, because then it's just 6-4. We still got to have a 2-1 lead with a possibility of extra innings. So I'm fine. Leyritz, I'm sorry, not Leyritz, but Mark Walters started to get cute and tried to fool him. And he started throwing sliders. But they were off speed. I mean, the pitch he threw to him, I think, was like an 85-mile-per-hour slider that Leyritz took deep. And it hung. It didn't go down. That was the problem with the pitch. The ball hung in the air like it was a beach ball. And I'm sure Leyritz's eyes just lit up, and he jumped on it, and he took him deep. Leyritz, the ball looked like it didn't have enough to get out because it got out slow. Leyritz was rounding first by the time he saw the ball was out of the park. And Andrew Jones climbs the wall. The ball barely gets over the wall, and it hits like this facade or this board that the cameraman is on. And I remember that thud when that ball hits the back of that wall or whatever it hit. And I remember the call with Joe Buck saying, back to the track, to the wall, we are tied. And that just sticks in my mind more than anything. Because if you remember the series, we blew the Yankees out the first 2 games in New York. Just took them out. took them out and whooped them. Whooped them. So after we won the first 2 games in New York, we don't win any more games in the series. Yankees got all the momentum. You can say that was what started the dynasty, that 90s going into the early 2000s with the Yankees, that run right there. You can say that home run turned the tide. That home run by Leyritz, I will never forget it. And it was one of those heartbreaking moments in my young life at the time when it came to sports. But Wohlers was never the same after that. Wohlers just lost it. I forgot they called what the disease they called it. It was a guy from Pittsburgh. His name was Steve something, I believe. And Wohlers just lost control. Pitches kept going to the backstop. I remember growing up, me and my brothers, we used to be so nervous after that World Series when Wohlers would come in to save the game. We were nervous. We needed at least a 3-run lead for Wohlers to come in. And he just never regained it. He just really lost it. He lost his control. He couldn't hit his spots. It was kind of sad. It was sad, to say the least. Because Wohlers was on his way to being that dominant closer. But that is the moment that just that moment just sticks with me. So if you're listening to this podcast on the YouTube side, go ahead and comment. What is your most heartbreaking sports moment? What's yours? Don't troll me. Don't say 28-3 Falcons. Because that's not my most heartbreaking sports moment. I've seen a lot of sports. And I know my Falcons were playing for the Super Bowl. I've been fortunate. I've seen the Falcons play in 2 Super Bowls. We lost both of them, but in my lifetime, I've seen them play in 2 Super Bowls. Ask a Browns fan that's my age, has he seen the Browns play in the Super Bowl? Has he seen the Browns get to the second round of the playoffs in their lifetime? So I'm fortunate. You take things with a grain of salt and you deal with it, So, but that's my most heartbreaking sports moment. And I'm glad I did see my team win the championship, though. My Braves won the World Series in '95. So I saw that. So I saw one of my teams win a championship at least. But heartbreaking sports moment, Jim Leyritz taking Mark Wohlers for a ride. Took him deep for a 3-run shot that tied the game. Forced extra innings. Yankees went on to win. They tied the series up that night at 2 games apiece. They went on to win the next 2, winning the '96 World Series 4-2 against my Atlanta Braves. So I have another question to ask you all out there. Now, if you ever watch Family Guy, they always had a segment in the older Family Guys where Peter would tell you what grinds his gears, which pretty much is what is a pet peeve or what gets on his nerves. So my question to you is, do you all listen to music on Sunday morning? I can tell you I don't, but I don't mind it. But here's the thing that grinds my gears about it. When you are blasting rap music on Sunday morning, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Look, I'm easy like Sunday morning, okay? So when I get up on Sundays, I want to smell bacon cooking, some breakfast cooking in the kitchen. I want to, I don't mind music, but it needs to be like either gospel music or a certain R&B music, like old school R&B. You can't put Donnell Jones R&B on, it's got to be like Temptations or something, some type of or even some soul music, but the volume's got to be low. You can't blast it though Sunday morning. Like I said, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I'm one of the few guys who probably still reads the newspaper. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. I can't stand it. Well, this past Sunday, one of my neighbors was blasting music Sunday morning. It had to be about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. And they were listening to pretty much anything. I'm pretty sure people were putting in a request, and that was what was going on. I mean, I heard gospel music, I heard R&B music, I heard Migos, I heard T.I., and then back to gospel music. I mean, it was a mess. I can't stand rap music on Sunday mornings. Save that for later. People are getting ready for church. I'm a little old school when it comes to that. That's what the old school, the conservative side comes out in me. Save your rap for later in the day. But in the mornings, people are getting ready for church. People are slowly waking up, reading the newspaper, having a cup of coffee, maybe having a cigar. I want to do that this weekend. Have a cup of coffee with a nice cigar. But anyway, though, I digress. I can't stand rap music in the mornings on Sundays. Please, people, please show a little respect. Have some decorum for around our neighbors. And let's keep the rap music for later. Put on some gospel music or some Al Green on Sunday mornings. That's all I'm saying. I'm not asking a lot. Oh, wow. All right, so before it's not much going on in sports. We know that. Soon. We'll have it back soon, so just stay tuned. But some little tidbits, to talk about, and this is coming out because of The Last Dance. Scottie Pippen about the plane doesn't work. That's something I already knew, but that was one of the big stories I saw as far as the Bulls go. The Bulls are in here all the time now because of The Last Dance, as far as sports talk goes and sports news. But for some reason, Scottie Pippen bought a plane for $4.5 million, and the plane didn't work. Like I said, I already knew that. I've read up on Scottie before in the past, and I know he signed a bad deal. Scottie was also bad with money as far as investing it. I mean, he lost a lot of money in bad deals. The plane was one of them. He ended up suing, though, and getting some of the money back for that plane. Because, once you find out that plane doesn't work when you buy it, do you trust getting in it? I'm just saying. If I buy a plane, well, first of all, I need to see if that plane works before I buy it. I'm not spending $4.5 million on a plane, and I don't know if it works or not. So that's on Scottie. That's his fault. But that was in the news somehow. And my man, Michael Jordan, Jeffrey Jordan. Can we give him an applause, please? My man, Michael Jordan and Jordan Brand have decided to donate $100 million to help Black people, the Black community, my community, and fighting social injustices and the awareness that we need to have police brutality going on with people of color. And so I want to give a shout out to Michael Jordan. And I hate to do this. So there's this guy I follow on one of my social media pages, and I've always thought this. He posts a picture up of Michael Jordan and his two sons, and he says, "Michael Jordan, I just want to say these words: DNA test, okay? DNA test, Michael Jordan, okay." I've always said that his sons don't look nothing like him. Now, my girlfriend says they look kind of like the moms. I've had an ex say that before, too. I don't really see it, though. Now, Jordan's daughter looks just like him. A splitting image of him. But the two oldest boys, DNA test. Now, people might not know this about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, I'm a huge Jordan guy. I probably have read stuff that people haven't even thought about. Now, there was an actress Michael Jordan was actually seeing while he was seeing Juanita, his first wife. Michael Jordan questioned the paternity of his first son. A lot of people probably do not know that. Pretty much anybody that played ball in the 80s and 90s has questioned paternity of any child they have. Okay? So, I'm just putting it out there. Okay? This is factual. I can't think of the woman that he was seeing, though. She's actually a pretty woman. She's a gorgeous black woman. Gorgeous woman. And, I love my black ladies. I like them dark skinned though. Always been that way. But, she's like here and there in acting. I'm pretty sure you've seen her. I can't think of her name right now, but, he was seeing her and seeing Juanita at the same time. And he questioned paternity of his first son with Juanita. So just putting that out there. Some other tidbit news. Kevin Durant has once again said that he is not coming back this season. I don't blame him. I wish people would stop asking him that. He has no reason to come back. Why would you come back? Season ends in October, and then you're going to you're going to crank the season back up in December. Now, I was listening to one of my other guys that I listen to, Chris Smooth. I watch his NBA 2K videos all the time. And he said something interesting today about the NBA might want to scale back on the schedule next season because the Olympics will be next season. Remember, the Olympics were supposed to be this year, but they canceled it because of the COVID-19. So guys might pull out of the Olympics because they'll be playing an 82-game schedule. Look, it's going to be hectic. And the load management, woo, I don't know what Kawhi is going to say about that. He's load management number one. He's the poster boy for it. This is why one of the reasons why I think they should just scrap this season. Having the whole 22 teams come back and play for a title. Look, scrap it. Put an asterisk next to the season. It is what it is. I know people want to see LeBron get that fourth championship. I'm just not feeling it. I don't scrap the season. It's too much going on. These guys are going to complain. I do believe the NBA can't play an 82-game season next year, and you're going to crank the year up in December. I just don't see it. And then the guys, the superstars, have to go play in the Olympics. Those are going to be the ones who are complaining about the schedule. I'm just saying my piece. Chris Move bought that out, and it made me think about it. He mentioned that, and I was definitely agreeing with Chris Move on that. So, yeah. So, there you have it. Stat line of the day of the past weekend, 0 for everybody. Nobody's playing. It is what it is. But soon we'll get some real stat lines of the week. Very soon. So look, that's all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you for tuning into the podcast. I thank you for letting me be a part of your day, your night, your evening, whenever you listen to this. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I salute you. Thank you. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I thank you as well. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Also, check out the new website. Go to ATSW Mike Davis, ATSW MikeDavis.com. That's a new website. You can read blog posts that I'll be uploading. I just recently put one up about Vince Carter and his farewell. I didn't think he got a proper farewell. It's sad he won't get that, but the man put in work. You can go in and share your stories and pictures and all that. You can upload it to the site. Let everyone see you be great. If you want to take pictures at whatever games you're at and all that. I love going to different stadiums and arenas and ballparks and seeing how the atmosphere is and interacting with other fans and whatnot. But you can do that as well. You can go on my website and upload that. Is atswmikedavis.com. Check that out. You can also reach me at mqdpodcast@gmail. Now, if you go on the website, all my social media links are on there. You can connect with me there. Look, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, thank you for joining me. This is episode 28. Hey, you guys have been great. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.